Allow me to reintroduce myself.
You are now tuning in to the Snap Call Podcast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Snap Call. I'm Xavier.
I'm Ice.
And on stream today, we have a special guest. We have Nikita with us. Nikita, and we're going to dive deep into his story here in a minute, but Nikita was one of the winners of what it seems like endless Moneymaker Tour events here shortly. But, he's going to talk to us a little bit about very simple strategy kind of navigating through tournaments itself, him running hot. He's also got a nice hefty bag for day 2 tomorrow in the main event, and we'll kind of go from there. But today, live from Orange City for the Moneymaker Tour is the last flight of the main event. It is an $1,100 tournament, $300,000 guarantee, currently running right now. And then we also have a $300 mixed PLO no limit hold'em event as well, with about 10 runners. So you want to hit some high hands, you can play some cash, but if you want to win some real money, come on over to the Moneymaker Tour and you can jump into one of the tournaments. But we're going to jump right into it with Nikita. We promised about 15 minutes of your time. We appreciate you jumping on. Messaged Nikita on Twitter, and he was willing to hang out with us for a little bit, so I appreciate it, Nikita. First and foremost, congratulations on your win. I think I'm a little salty about it because I was in that tournament, so I contributed to your prize pool. Ice, you guys battled a little bit in the tournament itself. So I guess we'll kind of start out with the viewers. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and kind of your poker journey, how you started playing poker.
All right, yeah. Well, first off, I guess thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's kind of cool to come out here and do one of these. Never done it before. Started off in poker when I was pretty young. I'd say like high school. I would do like little $20 cash games with all my buddies. We would just get together after class and just battle out 25 cent, 50 cent, something really small. Never was really that good at those until, I started putting a little bit of time into it, started studying the game. They all grew out of it. Well, most of them. Some of them play a little bit here and there. I started trying to actually take it seriously, trying to see, okay, maybe I can actually make some good money out of this. So my mom would always give me like $20. I'd tell her everybody go into the movies or something, go to the pool or whatever it is. I would just go and spend it on poker. Yeah. That fueled my, so to speak, addiction. At the start it was, but now here I am. I play a lot of tournaments nowadays, a little bit less cash. I play online mainly for the most part. Okay. From South Florida originally, like 10 minutes away from Hard Rock down there in Hollywood.
Dangerous.
Very.
So dangerous to be so close, right?
Right, absolutely. But now, yeah, here I am, mostly playing online. I work full-time, so most of the time on the felt is on that virtual felt, playing right after work, playing until maybe 1, 2 a.m. And then every moment that I have some free time, I come out here, Orange City, Daytona. I'll travel a little bit to South Florida, hit some spots here and there, but mostly online.
Nice.
What do you play online as far? Because, state of Florida, obviously, it's kind of hard to get into, like, the big sites online. Mm-hmm. What sites do you play on online?
Yeah, I have some private clubs that I started off on, like Poker Stars. We have, like, some home games in there that get some pretty good turnouts. There's Club GG that's pretty good. Recently, I've been playing on Global Poker. Okay. They have, like, series events every single month. They actually send out a trophy if you win one of those.
Oh, nice.
They have, like, there's, like, the GOAT series, the Bounty series. So I have 3 trophies online over there. But that Moneymaker win in Event 14, that was my first live trophy.
Nice.
So
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
What's your biggest score in cash? I think you posted something, but it was with, I don't know if it was on Twitter, but it was with coins or something like that.
Yeah, that was a Global Poker win. I won, I think it was roughly $23K on Global. Nice. Got a nice little trophy for that. It was one of the main events over there. $99 buy-in, so not too bad. I had like
$23K payout. That's good. That's
yeah,
really good.
Not bad.
That's good value, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, without aging yourself, right? Like, we've been playing, from before, the Black Friday, when they banned online poker. Sure. Were you playing poker back then, or did you kind of play poker post Black Friday?
A little post Black Friday. Okay. Black Friday. I'm 24. So
okay.
I can throw that out there. I'm pretty young.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say
getting into the groove of it, but
awesome. Man, I wish I could be 24 again playing poker, and we got kids now, so it's kind of hard. But that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you said you used to play a little bit more cash. Now you're playing tournaments. So you would call your home game the Hollywood Hard Rock, or that's kind of your home casino.
Home casino for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we played there back when it was like almost like a city walk type of thing. There was 2 floors, completely different type of vibe. Then they moved to a ballroom, and now it's like a completely. I mean, it's a beautiful room now, but completely different. He dealt there.
Yeah, I worked there.
Wow. He dealt there for a little bit when he was doing some remote work, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when did you deal there? Do you remember the time?
3 years ago. So right after COVID, kind of like maybe 2021. I think I started 2021.
Okay.
Dealt there for like a couple months.
Nice.
I was definitely playing there by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking about the Mega Stack 5K win, so you took down the tournament. I think it was like 81 total runners. High level overview of your play and how you think you played overall. Give us a little rundown of what was that, Tuesday night now?
Yep. Tuesday night.
Tell us about, kind of beginning and the end of, your win on Tuesday.
Well, start off, beginning was pretty rough. I actually got knocked out with queens against aces to him. Rebought back in, drew the same table, same seat, and the heater just started right there. I won a couple good hands. I think I check trapped flop with a set. There was like 6 people on the flop. Some guy was like super active, just started blasting into me. Got a couple of big pots through him. He actually called me off with like middle pair after I ripped it on the turn or something like that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I would text him. I said, the guy just busted is on a super heater because everybody's just giving him chips. Like,
Yeah,
He literally
donations,
texted
for
me. He's
sure.
like,
Yeah.
I busted him, and now he's the chip leader. I was like, damn, that must be good to run deep or run.
and
Run
it was
hot
right away. As
immediately.
soon as he rebarred, it was.
Did you get the same seat?
Yeah.
I did got the
was gonna
same exact
say-
seat, same table.
I was gonna say because I had walked by and I saw you there, and he was like, "Oh, this guy," and I'm like, "That's the same guy." I'm like, "Wow." So that's pretty funny. They put you in the same seat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you set some mind traps over there, and
For sure. I actually asked them to change my seat. I was like, I just got out from there. Like, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, you got to go back there. So I sat back down, and I guess it was a good decision. Yeah. Not
That's
bad there.
awesome.
Running good in terms of.
Yeah, when he sent me the picture, like, oh, look who ended up taking it. I was like, wow, because when I got eliminated, you were kind of just over the 100K in chips. Because you had like 2 stacks and now you had like 1.5 and stuff like that. And it was the blind started going up. So that's good. I told him, I said, I'm glad he won it because we were battling in that table. So rather you than anybody else that day. So
Awesome. Thanks.
yeah. When at my table, I mean, had a couple pros, had Raminder at my table, and I texted him as soon as Raminder sat down, and then Raminder took me for like 40K in chips the very first hand. I'm like, of course that would happen. But I on breaks and kind of walking around, I like to walk the tables, stretch really quick. When I saw your table, you have really good. Just like a poker demeanor, like the way you carry yourself, because there's people chopping it up. I've got what's his face over there at my table, making fun of people busting, but like very hard to read you, just kind of watching you play. So is that something you typically work on, in terms of like composure at the table and just kind of, how people view you at the table?
Absolutely. So playing online, obviously, there's not a lot of reads that people can get off me. So when I first transitioned to playing like live tournaments, I struggled with like, either my heart rate going up or whatever it is. But after just putting in so much volume countless times, that typically just goes away. And then it's, you know what the decision is, you know what you're going to do. Online poker is like a lot faster. So my decision's made up. Sometimes I'll Hollywood and wait like 20 seconds just to make them think that I'm like overthinking it or trying to come up with a decision. But my decision's made up almost instantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been trying to work on it a lot better. I think I've gotten a lot better in it in the last couple of years for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes like even myself, like we've been playing forever, and I'll have to remind myself mid-hand, just kind of like, hey, keep your composure, because the one thing I'll do is I don't hit flushes, I don't hit straights, but I hit a lot of sets, and he can vouch for that. And for some reason, that's like my thing. So like, it's kind of hard not to jump up when you hit a set all the time, and it's something that I think is a part of people's game that they don't think about when they're playing live. They look at solvers, they look at all these things, but like physical composure and your appearance at the table goes a long way. Like sometimes I was 3-betting a guy over there, I couldn't get anything through, but 3-betting a guy over there simply from the fact that he wasn't paying attention to half of his hands. So that paying attention at the table is huge. So.
Absolutely.
So let's see. So speaking of running good, you ran good for the rest of that tournament. You bagged one of the biggest, chip stacks for day 2 tomorrow for the main. How did that feel to go from 1 win to then bagging for the main, and now you've got a couple of days to kind of sit on it and just kind of rejuvenate?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, I was planning on playing today's flight actually, But Wednesday, I was like, you know what? I'm really not feeling going into work today. I think I'm just going to go and fire the main.
Nice.
So that was a pretty good decision on my part. I guess if I busted, it would have kind of sucked. But yeah, no, it feels pretty good. I feel like just riding the wave right now. I've got all the answers in my head, and I feel like I'm playing really well, running well, absolutely. In that first event, I ran a really big bluff with like 8-9 of diamonds, little gut shot on a queen 10 4-board. I opened it up like 4x. I got called by a station. C-bet like 40% pot, called me, turn was a 10, so I paired the board, and I fired like 60%. He folded, but he gave me like it was like a 600K pot, gave me the 1 million chip lead there, and that kind of led me to that victory for the chop.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, like, navigating through these fields, like, do you have a specific strategy? Is it kind of like apply pressure nice and early? As you know, the blinds go down. Do you obviously you're opening up your range? Are you applying pressure at that point? What's kind of your mentality and approach when approaching these large fielded tournaments?
It's definitely different on every table you sit down. I feel like you gotta kind of sit down, see what everybody else is kind of doing, and do the opposite. So you see everyone's playing a little tight, you're opening up a lot wider. So I try to open up tighter from the early position. Late position, I'll start opening up like any random hands, and usually they pay off, and I'll just apply the pressure then. If they're being a little bit too aggro, then I tighten up. I play a really tight range. I don't only play the nuts, but I try to keep it pretty slim there in terms of keeping my aggression down. If they're gonna blast into me, I'll take the chips, and I'll just be hero calling them all day.
Yeah, I noticed. Like I text him, like I would kind of 3-bet, 4-bet, and they would fold, right? And then you would 3-bet, 4-bet, and you get 5 callers, and then you would keep putting the pressure, and they would just keep donking off chips to you. And I text him, I was like, dude, this guy's not on a heater, but it's like he's a chip leader, but these guys are just giving him chips. Like they wouldn't put you on anything, and I was just like, I don't know if they thought just because you busted you on tilt or something like that, but I was kind of getting a little pissed. I was like, man. I was like, I was once I eliminated you, I was a chip leader there, and then you took over the chip lead. So just like we're battling. So I was just like, I want to have the chip lead, and I just see these guys just giving you chips. I was just like, yo, they're just giving him the chips. Like
It worked out.
it was like the worst person on the table to give chips to.
That's hilarious.
Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Can we peek that right there? So as we talk about the main event for tomorrow, we'll kind of put this here in front of Nikita as like a tease of sorts. But this is the main event trophy for tomorrow. Tony Burns, the tournament director, gave us an opportunity to kind of take a peek at that. So we'll put that there in front of Nikita.
I can touch it, manifest.
Yeah, you can look at it. I know some people might look at that as like a bad luck or
No.
But it's like
Just means it's
seeing your bride on your wedding day. But
I saw the comment you posted. I told you guys the next picture would be with the trophy.
that was a dope post.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, called my shot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I like that.
That was cool.
I like that.
So you getting into the poker content side now? I see you got the crack poker and you posting some more stuff. Is that something that, or are you just trying to advertise like your global poker ID and stuff like that? Like, what's the situation with that?
Yeah, funny you bring that up. My name online, I go by Get Quacked. So I used to bring like little ducks to the table, like a different one every single time. Kind of grew out of it. Almost felt like it was kind of bad luck. I don't know why, but I just didn't run deep when I brought them out. Busted out in the most craziest ways, but everybody who plays poker knows that just happens. So yeah, Get Quacked, that's kind of my like online name that I go by, little screen name. I was thinking of starting a little Twitch stream because I feel like I'm entertaining of sorts. I could try to do something like that. Still waiting on that though, but I am juggling that idea in my mind as time goes by.
Yeah, we've talked like multiple times about how like content creation in poker just continues to grow, it's just crazy from where it started to where it's at. We religiously, like probably like most people during the summer watching the Ground News daily vlogs, but then you've got like Kevin Martin and his daily streams on Twitch and different things. So there's a lot of really good content creators out there. So it's really a good time to get into that space. And just from like a networking standpoint, we've met so many people, so many people through the content creation piece. And then just playing in general, we've met a lot of people as well. So
I remember before you take out the phone to try to record a hand or something like that, and they would yell at you like, take off your phone. Even here they still do it, but we kind of got a pass that we can record. So it's good to get into it now.
We got the golden ticket here.
Yeah.
But this room is great. Moneymaker's been great to work with as well. So definitely been awesome. So don't want to steal too much of your time, but what tournaments do you have on the horizon that you are eyeing right now? And then for 2025, do you have any specific goals that you want to achieve? Whether that's a six-figure score, a bracelet, a circuit ring. What do you got?
Six-figure score is definitely on that list. Definitely want to start playing a lot more bigger tournaments, bigger buy-ins. Now that the bankroll's kind of building up, I can definitely take some big shots here and there. I got a ticket into WSOP Bahamas for that mini main,
Nice.
$27.50, but I ended up selling it off because with hotel and airfare, and I was like, I'm only going to play one event, like not really worth it. So I had a buddy go out and play. He bought the ticket off me.
Nice.
But definitely want to start traveling a lot more for poker. I was going to go play in the WSOP last year, but they canceled my flight at 3 a.m. the night before.
Jesus.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not meant to be. I think this is a sign. Gonna take it as that.
Yeah.
Just call it quits right here. I got refunds on all my hotel, everything.
Okay.
So WSOP for 2025. Definitely want to try to hit the main. And some bigger events. Go play a 3,500 WPT event in Hollywood, maybe Tampa. Those are kind of the goals right now. Six-figure score. Hopefully that's on the horizon, but we'll see. Got to run good for that.
Is that a full schedule, WSOP? Or are you going to pick like a week or two to go to? I know you said you wanted to do the main, but are you trying to do like the whole entire 7 weeks, 8 weeks?
It's kind of hard because I do work full-time. I'm a stockbroker during the day. So with that, it's kind of hard to make time. I'll see what I can do with work. I do want to play like the WSOP, $1 Million Bounty, like all those little tiny events, and then try to hop into the main. So maybe like 2, 3, 4 weeks. If I can get that time requested off work, then I'll do my best to play as many events as possible, yeah.
Nice. And will this be your first time going out to Vegas for the WSOP next year?
For poker, yeah.
Specifically poker?
Yeah, I played a couple cash games in Vegas. I went to, what was it called, EDC over there last year. So that was pretty fun. It was my first time there. Loved it, but it wasn't like a poker time. Hanging out with like family and stuff.
How was the cash games? And where did you play in Vegas?
So I played at the Wynn.
Okay.
I thought that would be the nicest room. I sat with a table full of regs.
Yeah.
Dusted off a couple racks. So that was pretty fun. Got a nice introduction to that. I was up like a couple thousand at the start, and then just dusted it in the last like 30 minutes, and then walked home.
Yeah,
down.
that's a lot of people. Like outside of the WSOP, like Vegas cash games aren't that good. At least the experience I had.
Right.
Like it's super tight regs, and it's just like you in the table with a lot of pros. So it's like unless there's bad beats, like or somebody's just knocking off, there's no really money to be made. And then you compare it to like this room, which good action constantly, and then Hollywood, you got some guys that donk it off all the time. So it's like for me, outside of the WSOP, Vegas for me is not a poker destination.
Yeah.
Like the games aren't that good unless you get into their super high stakes. But you got to have the bankroll for that.
No, if it's during the series, the games are good. But outside of that, the other 10 months out of the year, it's not fun. But then again, during the series, when I was playing some 5-10 at the Bellagio, I had like €7 and a reg right here. That's all it was for like every table, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like I made like the absolute minimum, and I played for like 10 hours. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So
1-2 and 2-5 are definitely good, just because you still get a lot of tourists for the summer going to Vegas, and they more down. 5-10 is at the Bellagio that's a pro game.
yeah, I'd rather go to like the Venetian. I feel like
Yeah, I always run good at the Venetian. Venetian's good.
People are a little bit more spilled here, so.
Got to go like off the strip, like New Orleans or something.
Yeah, or go to like the Golden Nugget or something. Play
Yeah,
like
maybe.
a uncapped 1-1 game or something. Like it's crazy. Awesome. Well, Nikita, appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely,
you so
guys.
much.
Hey,
Good luck tomorrow.
Congratulations on that
Thank
one
you.
too.
And we're rooting for you. We probably 2 or 3 people we're rooting for, so you'll be one of them, man. So,
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. So that was Nikita. He will be playing in day 2 of the main event tomorrow. You guys can expect some updates. We'll provide as many updates as possible, but excited to follow along and see how he runs tomorrow. Just recapping the Moneymaker series as a whole, right? I mean, I think the very first event that we looked at was the kickoff, 200K guaranteed, and truthfully, it was a little bit of a rough start, right? But it looks like they've rebounded pretty nicely.
This one's gonna be close, but
I
it's
think they
looking
needed
like
71 or 72, right, to hit it. What are we at right now?
that's on the other side.
46.
46.
46. So
You still got the night flight, right?
still got the no, it's just one flight today. One flight today, but we also have the satellite that's taking place right here. And just all the commotion you hear right now is I think the satellite just ended. So one of these people is going to be hopping into the main right now. But it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. And you're also talking late registration is going to be open for quite a time. So maybe 26, 27 more entries, and they'll hit their guarantee for the main event. One thing I wanted to chat with you about before hopefully Dyanna has a chance to hop on with us is the event we played the other day, right? So that's probably one of the first events me and you have played in a long time that's a bigger pro field type of event. Outside of speaking about specific hands, how did you feel about your overall play and the overall competition?
Yeah, so I know people are going to say I'm full of shit, but I felt like I played amazing. Obviously, I got aces 3 times, and all 3 times I got max value for it. Like you said, I send you update pictures and videos or whatever, like, hey, I doubled up. Like he was saying, he had queens, I had aces. He raised, I re-raised him, and he jammed. Right, obviously, that's a snap call. Then aces against ace-king, and then another ace I flopped the set and was trapping. They just paid me off. Then after that, I stole a couple blinds, and then from there I got hand dead, and it got to a point where a lot of people were shoving. So it was like I just didn't get any cards, and then I ran to like 2 little bad beats, which I lost the minimum, which I got lucky because on the river was a diamond, right? So 4 diamonds where I had the jack of diamonds, and obviously, the ace of diamonds still out there. So the guy checked, I ended up checking back, and he slammed his car. I was like, but he had ace king, I had ace jack with 2 aces on the board. So it was just like I lost the minimum there. Another big blind, I had 5-6. Guy had pocket 8s, didn't raise, didn't do anything. So, big blind, obviously, you check it. Flop comes out 5-5-8. He flops a full house. And just little by little, just takes me to value town. Boom, boom. But it's just like, I was thinking of coming over the top, but I was thinking I was trapping.
Yeah.
And then on the river, when he kept going, I was just like, you know what? Let me just call. Because like I was texting yesterday, I want to play kind of like small poker. Like, I got a decent amount of chips. I'm not trying to donkey it off. And lucky I didn't, because he showed that he flopped a full house. And I was just like, oh, crap. So I lost the minimum there. And then when I started getting low, I had ace-king. I shoved. Pocket 10s called. I lost the flip, and that's it. Finished 14th. So 3 out of the money. I wish I would have, like you, it's not luck, but you kind of need to get hands throughout the tournament. I got hands early on in the tournament. I started.
Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah.
What happens when you play cash?
Yeah, same thing with cash.
You get hands right away.
Right away. So it's just like I got pocket aces 3 times in less than like 3 levels. So it was a good start, but then I started getting a hand there when the blinds are up, and obviously if I want to double up, I want to double up later. Now when you buy in with 25 and you take somebody for 25K, so now you have 50K, and you take another person for like 30K. So it's like you eliminate 3 people, but you only had just over 100. If you do it later in the tournament, you're talking about 200, 300, 400K chip stack. So it's just like I wish I got the aces later, but you can't really complain.
No, I haven't seen aces in 3 months.
Yeah.
So to get them multiple times in the tournament, I mean, I got kings twice in the tournament. Race with a ace king, and then against ace jack as well, and both held up. Or sorry, not ace jack, pocket jack. So I can't complain, but unfortunately, that's where I made the majority of my money in the tournament itself. Legend, Reminder, essentially. His table broke. He came on over. He sat in seat 1, and I texted him. I'm like, oh, look who's at my table. We're talking. He just passed Phil Hellmuth for like the most final tables of all time on Hendon Mob, and he sits at my table in the very first hand. He essentially, I think he ended up rivering me, and that's okay. That's what happens sometimes. You just run good, but he sits down and the table pays attention. So that's why I wanted to ask Nikita before, as far as like presence. I think presence goes a long way, but I wasn't gonna back down. I had 3-bet him and everything, and I was like, oh, hey, I could say I played against him. Super, super nice guy. He said it. At the end of the day, you had to call off on that. He got lucky, but
he came to my table, and actually he got in a hand with Nikita here, and 7s versus ace-9 of diamonds, whatever, and it was all in pre. And Nikita flopped the set, but then runner for the diamond flush draw. So that kept his hopes alive, and then they took him and they moved him back to the table behind us. But yeah, you can tell he folded jacks pre-flop, which was a good fold. But he played really good, Remainder, whatever his name is. What's his name?
I think it's spelled Reminder.
Remainder, yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a good player. I think the one thing I liked about his game was there was no fear.
Yeah.
You know, and I think most good players play like that. Like we've talked about it. We know someone, no names, but they play to not lose, and that's not poker. You know, you don't play to survive, especially in a tournament. You got to win the whole thing. So it was very interesting. You know, to see him sit down and the first thing he wants to do is accumulate. That's his mentality, and that's how you have to play these tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can't sit and fold and wait for a big hand and 3-bet with. Like, I think that there was one hand where I had like Queen 8 of diamonds out of position, and I 3-bet simply for the sake of they'll remember that I'm not just 3-betting when I have big hands. You gotta get them thinking. So yeah, it was really cool to play with him. You know, and obviously all of the other pros in the room right now. Joey Pigtails is literally right in front of us playing in the mixed event as well. So, but in general, right? You know, we've talked a lot about how like a lot of these reps, the snap call tournaments, and then these moneymaker tournaments. If you're not taking them down, that's okay, but it's just really good reps for what is going to be a really big 2025 in poker, which we will talk about 2025 goals and whatnot here shortly. But yeah, you know, overall, I think it's been a really, really good event. Bust out this, we can put this trophy over here right now. Ugh, now that Nikita's not there.
I enjoy that event a lot just because of the value too. 186, 4K for first. Yeah, honestly, I'm happy that, obviously, you know, I didn't cash. I was just short of the cash, but I'm happy that I didn't donkey off chips and I played good poker. You know, obviously, you know, you have to win your flips. It has to be on your side. You have to get cards late, especially when the blinds were 8,000, 4,000 with an 8,000 ante, right? And you're sitting at 70-something thousand, and next you know it, 3 orbits go by, and you know you got to be careful because if you don't get a decent hand and you try to steal the blinds and somebody jams on you, it's tough to call off your stack. So it's just like, you know, eventually I'm going to run a good late and hopefully take one down, but it's for 186, the value you get plus a trophy, it's totally worth it. Especially like for us that we transitioning from cash to try to play more tournaments, just because of you know, we don't have too much time to commit 2 or 3 days to tournaments. And some of these better tournaments are during the weekday value-wise, besides the big main events and the opening events. So yeah, 2025 definitely, like he said, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but got some definitely goals tournament-wise for 2025.
I think one thing, and I think we made out. We got into the 5K, which they've essentially, done every single day, right? We were in the flight that had the most entries up to that point. We had 80. I think we had 81 entries. The night before, I think it was like 40 or 50. So it's kind of varied in regards to how many people are buying in. Obviously, on a main event like night to night, it'll probably be a really good turnout. But we just happened to be in the biggest guarantee. I think first place ended up taking about 4K. I think they made a deal, but 4K for first place, you can't beat that. So super cool opportunity there for us to be a part of that, and you know,
especially on a one-day event too. It's
4K for 8 hours of work. I'll take that all day long. I'll take that all day long. So I think Dyanna's walking around. She might be coming or not. She's got 15 minutes. So I wanted to steal maybe 5 minutes of her time. Hopefully we can steal her, and then we'll go from there. But let's see. One thing I wanted to ask you. We could talk about this until Dyanna shows up. The 100K Triton main event. Alex Foxen took it down, 3.9 million. He's having a great Triton WSOP Paradise experience, I guess you could say. 182 total entrants, nothing but the absolute best sitting at that table with him. Any initial thoughts on that? Obviously, we want to say he's a great player, one of the best in the world, but did you have anything that you took away from that event?
It's hard to take something like from that event just because you have the high stakes players. So you have obviously the best in the world and the best road players in the world as well too, as far as bankroll wise. No, Alex Foxen is a crusher. Obviously, he didn't do too good in the WSOP because I won the fantasy WSOP. I know you had him, but he's on the heater right now. He finished, I believe, second or third in another event as well too, and then he won his bracelet event. online bracelet event as well too. So he's on a real good heat. I think it's what is it, like 5 million in the last 2-3 months to finish off the year.
I think he's won. I think I saw something. He won like 6 million
Yeah.
in this series alone.
Yeah, so it's he's running hot. So yeah, because I think it was like 6 million, but it was like 5 point something profit wise he made just to close out like the end of the year. He's a crusher. His partner too, Chance McCormick, is a crusher too. His wife's a crusher. Like they just can play cards. Like, and obviously you know they have their coaching site and stuff like that. But honestly, you got to play the field because some of these guys play ABC poker, but sometimes they take chances. They donkey off the chips. And especially in those events, because you have like your pros and then you have your invitees, which means like not necessarily all the guys are top pros. They just got money and they got invited.
Yeah.
So, but hey, he took it down. Like, big props to him, and he's a crusher. There's nothing else to say.
So, Eric Wasserstein won his first bracelet as well in this series, and Eric Wasserstein is one of the best mixed game players in the world. But I don't want to specifically talk about Eric Wasserstein. I want to talk about, do you think, because I find it weird. I find it weird that there's another WSOP event that's outside of the summer and they're giving away bracelets. Now, don't get me wrong. If I won a 25K in the Bahamas, I want a bracelet. But part of me feels like the summer and bracelets just go together, and those should be bracelet events. I think they should give out like a ring or something different. I think of WSOP, I think of the summer, I think of the actual WSOP in Vegas. It feels weird to give out bracelets for events that aren't taking place in the summer.
Yeah, if the one thing I can say from that is this event only really catered to the high rollers. So for me, they should have done something different. Probably like a trophy or maybe like a high rollers plaque or something like that. I just don't want them to water down the summer now, just because if you have this event every year going on for the high stakes guys, what's their motive to come during the summer? To play the main and a 250 event maybe? So it's like the last thing we want is these big pros to just take the summer off to, you know, like, oh, we have these tournaments, we can do it in December. I think WSOP needs to keep the summer as their, like, the pride and joy, you know. Obviously it still is, but you don't want to water it down with these other just giving out bracelets. I think it should be, like you said, something else, like a trophy, or I don't know, maybe like a different league, like maybe do like a separate bracket for these guys. But like you said, giving out bracelets is tough because you're gonna water down the summer.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of bracelets being given out in non-bracelet summer events. Hey, you want to come over here? So we got Dyanna, is that how you pronounce it? All right, Dyanna's jumping on with us. We're going to steal literally 4 minutes of her time. She's got a stack in the main event right now. So nice to meet you. Thank you for jumping on.
Nice to meet you.
It's just ice.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we got some questions here for you. Oh, you might like the sight of that.
I do.
little
it's a
preview.
beautiful sight.
Yeah, a little preview of maybe what you'll be holding tomorrow. We'll
Yes.
But you know, we've been following your content for a little bit now. We're happy you were able to jump on, so thank you for that. Congrats on your runner-up finish this week, women's
Thank you.
event, right?
Yes.
And you took down a women's event last year. Right?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes, it was actually my first time playing a women's event too.
Look
so
at
that was
that.
pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I was following up on updates, and I was like, all right, take down number 2. Let's go. Let's see if we can take down number 2. So, congrats there. I wanted to ask you, like, strategy-wise, right? Like, what is your strategy when you go into these tournaments and kind of navigating through these large fields? Do you typically try to apply pressure early? Do you find yourself being more patient? You know, what's kind of your mentality?
So I really try to kind of assess my opponents, how they're playing. Also, a big determination on my strategy for me is, you know, do they know me? Have they played with me before? Because typically, you know, obviously as a woman, I think it's important for us to really exploit our table image and understand that if, you know, our opponents have not played with us, they are going to kind of assume that we play a certain way. And so it's important to kind of leverage that and exploit that. So I will kind of, you know, do my assessments on how I think I should be playing, depending on who's at the table, how they're playing, and kind of go from there.
Awesome. That makes sense, right? You kind of base it on what your table image based on who's at the table with you, right? I mean, that makes perfect sense. We saw you went to Aruba earlier this year. How was that experience?
That was absolutely amazing. I loved playing there. Katie Lynn's actually ended up winning that, and I was super happy for her. It's crazy too. Funny story about that. I actually overheard some guys talking about her because she was still in, and they were kind of like, they were not making nice comments, saying that, she's a Barbie doll and, Barbie dolls can't play, and it's just, the stupid kind of, sexist remarks that some people kind of, the stereotypes and stuff. And I remember being so, like, enraged about that I was like, just because she's a Barbie and she's pretty and all these things, that means that she can't play. Like that, what kind of logic is that? So I remember just being so upset. I saw her after that conversation and I went up to her and I'm like, hey, like, I really hope you win this. Like, good luck, like I just wanted to stick
push,
it to
like,
them.
get it to
yes.
them. Yeah.
And it's crazy because when I saw her on the final table, I was like so happy. Like, I was like, I really hope that she wins this thing, Awesome. And she won it. And I was like, yeah, like, show those guys because, it's crazy that, like, people, it's 2024, we're going to 2025. The fact that people still think this way and, like, as a woman, we deal with a lot in the poker world. And I just really love that we, are out there kind of challenging those mindsets and challenging those ways of thinking. And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny. We do like a fantasy, like a WSOP roster, and we do it based off points, and we kind of do like a little pool. And I had to get. She's literally one of my favorite players in the world, but she's just an absolute beast. And that's Kristen Fox. And so I'm like, man, like we were just talking about Alex Fox 2 minutes ago, and we're like, man, like. It's really cool to see like the barriers being broken. We're all for more women in the game of poker. So I think that's what caught our eye with your content. We're like, all right, someone that's traveling Florida, traveling to Aruba, playing poker events, crushing it, and is a female. Like, that's awesome. So,
yes, and
good
that's
for
one
you.
of the things I really appreciate and admire about the Moneymaker Tour. And one of the things that makes me so excited to work with them is that they have made it very important to their mission to kind of promote the idea of inclusivity and bringing more women to the game. They've even had multiple ladies events at several stops, and it's really important, and that's part of my role with working with them is to kind of promote that and come up with ways to encourage more women. And I think that ladies events are very important for that purpose because it's a lot less intimidating for women that have never played to come into a ladies event as opposed to a regular tournament. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of series that take place, traveling tours that take place that are the same size, if not slightly bigger, that don't have a women's event. So it's actually really cool to see that on their calendar. So good for you. I don't want to. I know. 3 minutes. I want to give you some break time. First off, how's your stack looking?
Starting stack.
Okay.
Hovering
Healthy.
around starting stack.
It's a great structure. 40-minute levels, right?
Yes.
Something like that. So plenty of time.
Yes, exactly. I actually got here a little later. I don't mind, At this point, I think a lot of people kind of tend to jump right in, and I like to kind of sit back and really like analyze how my opponents are playing, because even though you may have played with people before, everybody has different days where they might have been playing a certain way previously, and then maybe today they're playing differently than they usually do. I think it's important to kind of sit back and start taking mental notes, accumulating information on how your opponents are playing that particular day, and then kind of use that for when it's important to use. So.
Absolutely. So last question before we let you go, what can we expect Dyanna to let's start that over. What can we expect Dyanna to accomplish in 2025, and do you have any goals for 2025?
So my goals really are just to keep getting better. I'm still, fairly new to the whole poker tournament world, and I just feel like every time I play, I get better. Despite making mistakes, I try to. I live by this motto: focus on the lesson and not on the hurt. Okay. So when I make a mistake, I just try to
There's a lot of hurt in poker.
A lot of hurt. A lot of hurt.
Expensive lessons, yeah.
Expensive lessons, yeah.
Yes, so it's just important to focus on, just getting better, the knowledge. I feel like if you focus on that and the process itself, the results will come. And I think a lot of times, not just in poker, but in life in general, we get like fixated on, the results, and we just, want that so bad. A lot of times we end up kind of pushing it away, and I think that when you are enjoying just the process itself, the results are bound to come. So that's my goal, is to just keep getting better, having fun.
I got one thing. We usually ask our guests, what's your Mount Rushmore of poker? Give us your top 4 players that you feel influence you in the game, and who do you like?
Okay,
Let's put you on the spot.
top players.
Top 4, your Mount Rushmore. Not necessarily the best players in the world, but your favorite.
Yeah. They could be influential to the game, et cetera, et cetera.
Obviously, being a female, I would say Maria Ho. She's the OG, I feel, for kind of like younger women. Like, I kind of just see she's someone that is very relatable to me in particular. So definitely Maria Ho. Daniel Negreanu, I really like how he plays, and he has a lot of very beneficial advice. And I read a book that he recommended called Blink, and it's not a poker-related book at all. It's more about psychology, and that was actually a very game-changing book for me in the game of poker, and he's the reason that I read it. So definitely got to give him credit where that's due.
Uh-oh.
Oh, 30 seconds.
Time to go. Time to go. Shot clock. Ivy?
No.
Definitely
Brunson,
Phil Ivey. I
Helmuth.
mean, Phil Ivey's just such a beast.
Yeah.
The way he plays, his
Yeah.
fearlessness.
Yeah, you gotta
just
love it.
So much respect. And yeah, Helmuth, I think he's, I love that he does the philanthropy work, and
He does a lot of
very
charity stuff.
admirable. But Kristen Foxen, for sure. She's I mean, I just absolutely idolize her at this point. I think she's just such a beast.
Awesome. She's awesome. Talk
Yeah,
about a power
all the
couple.
female, yeah, all the
a-
female crushers. I think I'm gonna say them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you go. Thank you so
Thank
much for jumping on.
you.
You got the memo about the ugly sweater?
Yes,
I see.
apparently so. Thank you so
Good
much,
luck,
guys.
okay?
Thank you.
Alrighty. All right, guys, that was Dyanna Lopez. Good luck to her. She's going to be continuing in the main event. We'll be providing updates on her and Nikita as far as who's going to take it down. Would love for either of them to take it down here.
Have you been noticing like a overwhelming? It's been Negreanu up there.
Yeah, but it's not, he's my favorite player, so it's not a surprise for me. But I think he affects the game in multiple ways, right? Longevity, he's been playing for as long as we've been watching, and longer. Skill, obviously he's a fantastic player, and then you also got to account for the fact that like he continues to grow and push the game forward. So I think, and that's what we based the Mount Rushmore off of, right? 3 things. He's got bracelets, he's a great player, he pushes the game, so I'm not surprised by it. I mean, as much as he's a likable guy, he's also kind of like,
Yeah, he's a dislikable.
he's
guy.
also just as much as a dislikable guy. So Hector's bringing me my chicken tenders. I appreciate that. I ordered these a while ago and I forgot about them. Thank you. Seat one, thank you. Do you take chips?
No, I didn't take anything. I didn't take anything.
All right, so I think we're gonna kind of jump a topic here. We'll skip out on that. I want to talk about 2025. Well, actually, no. Let's recap 2024. 2024 in a nutshell, Hector. For those that don't know, we started out as a apparel company back in 2017, 2018, with the idea of making hats and shirts and, doing a little bit of traveling, playing poker, and mainly playing cash games and then dipping here and there in tournaments. Kind of went away after a couple years, and then our buddy, shout out to Fernando, because this wouldn't be going on if it wasn't for Fernando. Fernando, our buddy who doesn't even play poker, said, "Why don't you guys bring Snap Call back?" Fast forward to December, 10 months from when we did our first podcast, and we said we're going to become more content creative, more content creation based, I should say, and we are now working with our poker homeroom. We're discussing poker with pros on a weekly basis, and we're doing things that we would have never thought. We thought we were going to be here in a couple years. So, with all that said, how do you feel 2024 went? Without talking about 2025 yet, but how do you feel 2024 went, and some of the big W's that we've seen?
2024
I'm gonna take a couple
was
bites.
really big for us. So when you and Fernando and you guys were like, "Hey, let's bring Snap Call back," I was like, "I'm in. Let's do it." And it was like a week before we all met again, and to discuss what we're gonna do. And in my head, I was thinking the same thing you guys were thinking. Like, man, like it's gonna be such a grind of what we were doing. I was like, we have to switch it up, and I had the the idea, the same thing as you. Like, these are all my different ideas, and then as soon as I sat down, you had this whole PowerPoint of how we're gonna be doing a podcast, and I was like, yes, that's what I. Well, that's exactly. So we were like all on the same page without even talking about it.
Yeah. Well, it's
You know what I
funny
mean?
because I had the idea of a podcast in the back of my head, but I think part of me was a little afraid to say it because,
Yeah.
sometimes when people think of podcasts, they're just like, oh, another podcast,
Yeah.
It wasn't until I talked to Ice where Ice is like, I was thinking content creation, but Ice was like, podcast. And I was like, all right, someone else
Yeah.
is thinking it too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we never talked about it, but we all got it together, and it was just like, yes, we were all in unison. This is what we should do. This is how we should move forward, and it was pretty easy from there. Honestly, my only biggest hiccup for me is my own personal thing. I was like, I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't want to be like I'm just a nervous guy, and that nervousness made me say yes. It's kind of like when someone says, hey, let's go run a marathon or half marathon. I'm instantly scared, but I say, okay, let's do it because of that scaredness. It was like, it's something to get over,
it can't be worse than talking to Poker Org and calling yourself Ice like I did. I literally
Yeah.
crapped the bed there, so it can't get worse.
But yeah, I got over that thing, and then we hit it running, and we started with how you should. You start with what you have, and you don't overextend or anything like that, but you just try to grow and have a vision in your head. And I think us having a unified path of what we wanted, and it worked out. A lot of the hard work, of getting this was you and Ice, and so that's why we're here.
Ice, what would you say, recap of 2024 and kind of where we started and where we are? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so definitely, I always had high expectation for us, just because we're providing a content that a lot of people don't provide. Obviously, there's some hiccups, with the cameras and just where we were shooting, and just getting the social media thing going. And then when I reached out to Delaware North Orange City, and they wanted to partner with us, it right there made me feel good. I was just like, okay, they watching us, they like us, we can make something out of this. And just the constant grind, obviously it's tough, but at the same time it's something we enjoy. So I don't see it kind of like hey, oh man, if we don't make this work, then we ain't nothing, right? It's not like that. Just because it's obviously you get nervous when you're on podcasts and then you have to talk and stuff like that, but once we start getting the hang of it and talking what we love to do, it's like I think it's a win-win. So
Yeah, like we're not trying to be only friends or talk, or Danny Negreanu talking about high stakes only or anything like that. We're the Rex, we're the average guys who have jobs and family and who just like poker. So let's talk poker, And if we're gonna talk about micro stakes, 1, 2, 2, 5, 5, 10, and all the stories that interest us.
And I like the fact that, in the beginning I had said a few comments about some players, and I got, some feedback as I was a buster and stuff like that. But that's something that I wanted to get feedback-wise, because just nobody's going to tell me what to say or opinion on a guy. It's not going to happen. I say the way I feel, and if they like it, too bad. If they're not, even better. It's this is something that, we wanted to do. Obviously, we also talked about having our own tournament. In which, when we made that happen, I was like, man, this is, pretty good.
Yeah.
That's something that I was looking forward to in a couple of years. So, obviously, hopefully 2025, we have a lot, hopefully more partnerships to go, but, taking it day by day.
Yeah, the Snap Call League, that was big. I really enjoyed that, having guys who didn't know poker, didn't know the game, was coming in asking rules, and by the end of it we're making moves, making plays.
I'm glad you said that. Was my least favorite.
Yeah.
I never ran good in those.
Well, the one thing that I think I'm most proud about is we didn't represent something that we're not.
Yeah.
Right. We could have easily started this, called ourselves pros, provide all these hand analysis and yada yada, and pretend we're something, and we didn't do that. Right. We've presented ourselves as exactly what we are, and that's what you said. You know, the everyday Joe Schmo that loves poker, has a family, has kids, but we have an advanced, understanding and love for the game than the average poker player, and that hasn't changed. And the thing I'm most proud of is the fact that we stuck with that, and look what it led us to. We have a tournament named after us that we were hoping in a couple years that we'd be able to do. We wanted to start a partnership with Orange City and Daytona. We had one meeting with them, and we came to terms at the end of that meeting, as well as have a tournament named after us after just one meeting. And it wasn't that we blew them away, right? There was obviously a mutual interest in each other, but it just speaks to kind of they're seeing the value that we provide them, and likewise, but also we're very genuine in who we are, right? We don't pretend to be anything crazy. If you told me a year ago that we'd be doing a podcast in Orange City with the Moneymaker Trophy to our right, I would have believed you. Because about a year ago is when we said, hey, we're gonna do our first podcast in February and see where we go. So it's just crazy. I mean, I still remember our first stream. We were complaining about the lighting, the sound. It looked horrendous.
Camera.
But we kept at it, man. And now look at us, And we can always get a better camera set, better mics and stuff.
But you just
we've
get
made
1%
strides
better every time.
We made strides. We've made strides.
So before we get to 2025 goals, what do you since this journey began, as far as like the podcast stuff, do you feel like you're more in love with the game now, or is just like it's the same, just we're doing it? Because for me, I'm starting to feel like I care more about the game now, just because I'm following up with a lot more content and watching all these live table streams and stuff like that. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think for me, I think I've always had the same amount of love for the game. I've always kind of been up to date on what's going on in poker news and different things like that. If anything, I have more of a respect for those that work in the industry. What I mean by that is, like, as a content creator, newfound respect for content creation. To post every single day, to post breaking news and updating everyone on who won a WSOP bracelet every day is crazy. There's 4 of us, and that was tiring. And then just coming here on a weekly basis and seeing the tournament directors and seeing them bust their butts, right? Being on calls with them and learning about the things that they got going on. Them telling us about promotions that they have 60 days out. Like, it's a grind. It's not just the players in here that are grinders. I mean, it's the employees too. So definitely a newfound respect for everyone involved in the poker industry as a whole. I think I'll always love the game the same, but I'd say that's what's increased for me.
Yeah, pulling back the curtain, definitely seeing a lot, like coming in here not as a player was definitely a weird experience, and seeing how much is behind the scenes. Like when you're really just looking around, you're seeing a lot of moving parts that are happening. But when you're playing and you're in your own 9-player bubble, like you don't even think of it like that. So it's definitely an appreciation for that. The content creation part is definitely it's definitely a grind, but it's something that it's just easier when you're doing it with friends that you enjoy being around. Love for the game hasn't really grown. I think this satisfies like my appetite, like, because before it was always like I play, and when you play, like, it's a lonely world, like you're just playing and that's it. And maybe I got to talk to you guys about a hand every once in a while or something like that, but we talk about the new, we talk about hands, we talk about sports, we talk about everything, and then at the end I'm like, like, I don't even need to play. This was good. This is what I enjoyed, was the poker camaraderie and all that. So I definitely do get the itch sometimes to play, and then just go satisfy that. But I think this podcast has made me play less because it satisfies my satisfaction of poker.
I mean, it definitely makes me want to play more, right? I hear the chips right now. I can't wait to go play some cash. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, but the love couldn't possibly grow because I love poker already. But what about you?
Yeah, so like you said, like, I think the love came young. So it's just like, it's hard, like, once you fall in love with something to actually oversee that. But I feel like now it's more like, okay, let me make a game plan out, especially for tournaments, what I can do going into next year or just the future. So and then definitely seeing, like, the guys you play with at the table, and you kind of sometimes outplay them, and they end up winning a tournament or something like that. So it's just like, okay, I can do this too. It's just obviously, it's a grind. But I feel like it's it's definitely made me more aware of all the tournaments and everything that's going on, not just in Florida but across the country as well. So
I could see that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, we wouldn't be talking about like Cherokee as often as we probably do, right? Or
Yeah.
what's going on in Canada, playground poker or something.
I
So
wouldn't be following the WSOP Bahamas.
yeah. So I can definitely see that. So shifting our thoughts here, I kind of wanted to ask everyone your personal and snap call goal for 2025. So we'll start with Hector.
All right. Well, I'm definitely gonna win and ship it in. I feel like that's a must for all of us. And of course, talking to Tony last time, it's like I got to be the first. But my first goal, mini step is to get to level 3. Because right now I've only done one. But yeah, so ship it in tournament. I do want to play more tournaments, more series types tournaments, and not just like one-offs. So I want to make time for that. You got to be intentional, I guess, even with how crazy my schedule is. So have to be more intentional about planning that out and getting that done, and sprinkling cash here and there. That's not a big goal for me, but I do want to throw in a couple cash sessions just for fun.
Okay.
So that's it poker wise, but
That's all individual. What
Yeah.
snap call?
Biggest-
What would you like to
yeah.
see us do?
biggest for snap call is I know we talked about it, is kind of turn the league into the ship it in a little bit, like have a championship series, maybe have a point system, things like that. If we can even expand our locations of where we're holding the podcast, that'd be cool too. I mean, how nice would it be to do this at a beach, or things like that. So yeah, and I really want to grow YouTube. So keep subscribing.
All right. So what are your personal and snap call goals for 2025?
All right, so I'm gonna start with snap call goals for 2025. Obviously, grow the ship it in tournament with a higher guaranteed. Trying to get that to maybe 10 to 20K guaranteed. Hopefully by the end of the year. That's something that I feel like once they put the guarantee on, the players will come. And then also doing this right here at the WSOP, just kind of like having this podcast, and behind us is at the Paris or whatever, at the Horseshoe, just the WSOP. That's a dream, and hopefully we can make that happen. And then personal goals for 2025, I'm going to play definitely more tournaments, and also try to see if I can play more tournaments online as well too. I'm actually going to get with Nikita here to see about the global poker, just because I'm kind of like about like online poker, and especially in Florida. And as far as you buy this with coins and you get this, or with Bitcoin and all that stuff like that. So it's I gotta kind of navigate that a little bit better. That's what I'm trying to do for 2025, and hopefully ship a decent tournament. Maybe 5-figure score, hopefully 6, but that's my goals for 2025. And you?
I think it was kind of a mixture of what both of you said as far as the snap call goal is. I think for us, up to this point, and obviously we're much ahead of our schedule of what we wanted to do, our we made it moment was this right here, right? Like doing this, what we're doing in this room. So we've kind of made, and we're kind of free rolling, for lack of a better term at this point. So
Yeah.
definitely a goal of ours, and we do have kind of started some communication with the WSOP, is to be at the WSOP this summer. Whether that's in the form of a partnership or a vendor, we're trying to figure that out. But like I said, one of the coolest things we can say is have a backdrop of tens of thousands of players right behind us. I think that'd be really cool if we ever got that opportunity.
Yeah.
But honestly, just kind of being out there. I don't need a stage, right? We could do a podcast in the cafe at the Horseshoe, But if we're able to record content, do it on the Snap Call dime, it'll feel really good to be like, hey,
Yeah.
all this came from all of our efforts, and that'll feel like a W.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, even doing it for Orange City, I'd be, promoting Orange City while we're out there.
yeah. I mean, if
we'll
they
go.
want to send us out there and promote, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think in general, right? Like, I feel like that we're blessed that we're even doing this now. So if we can shift it over to Vegas for the series, I'll do that in a heartbeat. And then the other one was host we're hopefully going to be able to turn the Ship It in Deep Stack into a championship 10K guarantee trophy event for March. I'm hoping we could do more than one championship event next year. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, and we could get some big names. If we could get one of our Mount Rushmores on the podcast.
Like, you know, I think it'd be cool to host events like that consistently and then have people like Dyanna or Nikita coming for those events. We know people will come to our events.
Oh, yeah.
The winner of the very first event drove down 2 hours from Jacksonville. So we know the interest is there. Personal goal wise, pretty simple. I just want to put more reps in. The last couple years, I haven't been playing as much poker as I would like. So playing more tournaments. It was really nice to just play in a tournament the other day on a whim, playing more cash, and kind of getting back into poker more consistently. You know, I think that's my biggest thing. Reps.
Yeah.
Especially in a tournament world, will be really nice. So
I do want one more goal. I do want to jump on a live stream game. Always been a goal of mine, just watching it online and stuff like that for years, just jumping on a live stream game. Even if it's a 1-2 or 2-5, it's one of my goals as well.
Just keep working on our creativity and just trying to give you guys what you want, different views. You know, it's not the same old every time.
yeah, well, definitely. Just as our stream has evolved, the content will evolve, right? We're playing more, so hopefully you guys have been seeing more hands being posted. You'll probably see that a lot more, and then we'll be able to come back and kind of break down hands here. Looking at some collaborations to do. Side Bet Podcast is someone that I'm going back and forth with, and maybe putting together like a poker roundtable of sorts, where we'll put together like 3 or 4 podcasters on a stream together, and we just debate. We debate with other podcasters on various topics involving poker, casinos, gambling, Vegas, you name it. It'll be a really cool opportunity for us to, collaborate, but then give you some really unique content as well. And then outside of that, continuing to do this and doing this with the Ship It in Deep Stack, which our next tournament is on the 11th of January.
12 o'clock start time.
12 o'clock start time on the 11th of January, which is new for us. Our last tournament was earlier, but it's going to be new for us on a Saturday here in Orange City. So hoping to smash that guarantee. It's kind of sad because this is kind of our official last stream in this room for just this year. We'll be back, of course. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to end it on here.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
I want to give a shout out to Delaware North and the Orange City and Daytona team for their hospitality, hosting us, and just honestly just making it a smooth transition.
Yeah. Just we had our platform, right, to do this, but giving us a platform to do this in the room. No one else has ever done it. Even when they did Real Rock, and they were hosting a table in a tournament in Daytona, they weren't doing a live show. So very cool to have this opportunity. We're very fortunate to have them as a partner, looking to grow that partnership in 2025. So like I said, Joe, Ryan, Sydney, Byron, Ryan, you name it, everyone, really appreciate the support and the partnership.
I honestly, I don't have much to say. I mean, it's been a pleasure. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been awesome. Fernando, we miss you. We need you back, buddy. Yeah, and we're gonna end the year and start off strong.
And thank you to all the guests that hopped on as well too. Appreciate the love from the beginning.
Who we got? We had Dyanna, Nikita,
Kyle Fish,
Justin Smith, Ryan Slocum, Tony Burns, your best friend. Petey stays fresh. Who else do we got? I think that's it. Ryan, then of course. Then we had Joe on. Tony Burns. So, looking to expand that as well, and maybe do some more like remote type of
and some other people that
interviews
just
as well.
scheduling didn't work out. So maybe we could get them on.
I got like 2 or 3 in the works.
Oh, Charlie!
Obviously,
Don't forget Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie Campos as well. I got 2 or 3 in the works. Hopefully for next year, just the time period, and obviously a lot of people are, you believe it or not, are shy to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get Fausto Valdez. He's a poker coach currently playing in a WPT. He said once his schedule kind of clears up, he'll be someone really good. Charlie just happened to work with Fausto before. He was kind of one of his students. So we'll have to tap into Charlie and get him on stream. But with that said, just want to thank you guys for all the love and support. Oh, Luisito, who is has a stack for tomorrow, day 2, so we're rooting for him as well. But thank you so much, guys, for all the support. We will see you guys in a stream format in 2025, but we'll still be cranking out content for the rest of the year. On that note, catch you guys later.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.